Well, it is really genuinely a great pleasure to be sat here with a folk punk singer-songwriting legend, Frank Turner, who occasionally I do happen to see in my local pub in Camden. Frank, welcome.
Hi, it's very nice to see you in this context rather than at the bar, jostling for space.
We're actually here in Brick Lane in East London at 93 Feet East, a venue I've been to on a number of occasions. You're playing a gig here tonight in part of your ambassadorial role for Independent Music Venue Week?
Independent Venue Week, yeah.
Independent Venue Week.
Yes.
Tell us a bit about that.
Well, basically, it's the second year for Independent Venue Week, and each year they have an ambassador. I've dressed for the occasion, clearly.
You're spoiling us.
I put on a clean T-shirt. But yeah, so they got in touch and asked if I'd be interested in fronting it up this year, and I said yes. I've got a bit of a rep for trying to champion small venues anyway. I did a bunch of stuff for Save the Joiners in Southampton. I'm running a petition to the Culture Secretary, so it sort of made sense for me to be somebody part of it. I was very flattered, they asked, anyway, of course. And what I like about it is quite a lot of the other stuff I've been doing for small venues has been quite sort of on the defensive and on like save this from pulling stuff back over a precipice kind of thing. Independent Venue Week is about celebration. It's about saying, fuck yeah, we've got independent venues, there are loads of them, and there's venues all around the UK who are taking part, and there's gigs every night of the week. And obviously the hope is that it's not just going to be this week that people get involved.
Sure.
But it's about sort of transmitting the joy of this kind of corner of our culture to a new generation, about celebrating it, and just making sure that people know that it matters.
Right. Now, you're headlining here tonight, and this particular venue, 93 Feet East, holds some significance for you because I understand way back in 2005 when you embarked on your solo career that perhaps this was one of the first places that you ever played as a solo merchant, as it were.
It was, and in fact it was in 2004. Million Dead was still a band, and it was just it was for a charity gig that a friend of mine organised here, and it was kind of for a laugh, and I don't think anybody thought that anything would come of it, and that was 11 years ago now.
Frank, surely you must have thought, hang on, the Million Dead is kind of over, it served me well. They were a sort of, I've done my research, post-hardcore, whatever that means, a metal-y kind of thing. I know Frank was very keen on Iron Maiden.
Shouting. I took my shirt off and I shouted at people, and I had terrible long hair.
Yeah.
But yeah, Million Dead played here as well. We launched our first album here in 2003, at a guess. So yeah, I've been to this venue many times. It's a venue that's had its ups and downs in the last couple of years, and it's nice to see that it's sort of up and running again. And it just felt like an appropriate place. My one reservation about it is that it's important to me to make my shows accessible to everyone who wants to come. I don't like doing the underplay thing where you play a place too small and everybody, because then you get ticket touting, which is annoying, and then you also get some seriously bizarre emails I've been receiving in the last few days of people offering me naming of their firstborn children, large sums of money to get into the gig. Somebody said that they could gift me a baby penguin, and they weren't kidding. And
intriguing. I mean, a baby penguin sounds like on your rider. I'm sure you've had groupies and the like, but a baby penguin may be a first.
I've got nowhere to put it. I mean, just put it in the bath and hose it with cold water every now and again. But I mean, do you know what I mean? It's not a practical gift.
Right. Now, I mean, in terms of gigging, you've headlined the O2 in front of 20,000 people. You've done all sorts of huge festivals. Various gigs in the States, with Offspring and Green Day and all sorts of stuff that you've been doing yourself.
Yeah.
With an enormous amount of fans worldwide. And the Turner bandwagon continues to roll.
Yeah, thankfully, yeah. I spend my entire life and career feeling like, when sort of Wile E. Coyote runs off the edge of a cliff,
right,
and he keeps going for a certain period of time, and it's only when he stops and looks down that he starts falling.
Yeah.
I'm just it just seems so unlikely to me that, first of all, that I've been as successful as I was in the first place, and secondly, that it's continuing to happen. Most people, by the time they I'm about to put out album 6. Most people, by the time they put out their 6th album, people have kind of stopped caring. And maybe they are about to stop caring en masse, and I'm deluded. But it seems at the moment like we're going to have a big record, we're going to have a big push. A lot of people seem to be excited about it. Yeah,
well, when I spoke to you a couple of days ago, you said you'd just come back from LA. I didn't know what you'd been doing. I was going to accuse you of laziness because it's 2013, April the 22nd, when your last album, Tape Deck Heart, came out. And I was thinking, well, maybe you've just been sitting around on your ass doing nothing. But in fact, you've been out in LA recording it.
Well,
That sounds very, very, very sort of sexy.
Yeah,
LA recording.
It does. It sounds like I was doing some work. I will now confess the truth to you, which is basically, I was in Nashville in December. I've been working with a producer called Butch Walker, who is a genius. I love him. I wish I'd met him 10 years ago, kind of thing. And as was the plan, we cut the record in 9 days. It's mostly live.
Okay.
And I wanted it to be a kind of raw, rough around the edges kind of sounding record. Now, the thing is, record labels don't really believe that you can make an album in 9 days. And if you tell them that you have, they tend to panic and go, oh shit, you've got to record it again, or we've got to do more work on it, or whatever. So preempting this, Butch and I told the label that we had some more work to do on the album, and I had to go to LA for 2 weeks in January in order to do said work. Now, in truth, there was some work to do. I think I worked for 3 days.
Nice manoeuvre. All financed by the record company.
Yeah, totally. And I did. I ended up doing a gig as well because I love gigging. So I ended up playing Hotel Cafe, which was great. But I spent quite a lot of time sat on the beach.
Brilliant. Well, Venice Beach, sort of.
A little further north, Oxnard. I've got a friend who owns a house in Oxnard.
Oxnard. I'm not familiar with that, but
it's a small. Basically, right. We're on this street which is literally on the beach, and at one end of the street was a breakfast burrito and coffee place, and at the other end of the street was the diviest dive bar in the history of dive bars. And when I walked in on the first night that we were there was one customer and the barman was smoking a fag, and I was like, I'm in love.
Oh, cool.
This is just I'm going to be here every night, which we kind of were. I actually bought. It was called the Rudder Room. I ended up buying a t-shirt and a hat.
Nice manoeuvre.
And so that constitutes work in my universe, apparently. So it has been a nice year. So
Well, you're back here and you're working tonight, certainly, and there's an ever-growing crowd of enthusiastic, excited youngsters and even people my age as well outside. So so it's back to the grindstone. Yeah.
That's what you told me.
feeling a lot older than that, especially in the depths of midwinter at the moment.
Yeah.
So we've got a new album which you've just finished doing.
Mm-hmm.
What else we got coming up for 2015? Presumably there's gigs, festivals, tours, whatever.
Yeah, there's going to be a ton of that. We're going to be busy in the summer with festivals. I can't remember which ones I'm allowed to announce yet, so I'm not going to announce any and say they're on the website.
We don't want to jeopardise anything as yet.
Yes, but we'll be doing that, and we'll be doing lots of touring. The one other thing that's happening this year, which is fun, is I just finished writing my first book, which is coming out on the 28th of March, and it's a book of tour diaries.
I'm a journalist. I don't write songs for Frank. I don't write songs. You don't write books. It's as simple as that.
I will say that the thing that I learned in writing this book is that writing books is really hard. It's just been something that, because I used to write a lot when I was a kid, and I just, in my head, it was always just like, yeah, that's probably something I could do without too much stress. Turns out I was completely talking out of my ass. It was I found it a very difficult experience. I mean, I enjoyed it, and I'm pleased with the end result, but it was a lot of work.
What's it about? Is it a factual account of life on the road?
Yes, yeah. It's basically. It's a slightly pretentious word, but memoirs of the last 10 years on tour.
Right.
The publisher got in touch and said, "Do you want to write a book?" And I thought they meant autobiography, and I said no because I'm not yet. I haven't yet won a war or passed my 70th birthday. But they said. But then they said they pointed out that I've read lots of tour memoirs, Henry Rollins, people like that, and they said there might be people interested in the things that you've done, and I said, get out of here. But apparently there might be, so it's coming out.
New album and new book, and those are both going to be sort of early summer?
Yeah, early summer. I think the book's March 28th, and the album date we haven't got yet, but it'll be a little bit after that.
Brilliant. Well, Frank, it's been a great pleasure talking to you, and we wish you the best with Independent Venue Week. Independent Venue Week. I knew I'd get it in the end. And the new album, and the new book. And tonight's gig, in fact.
And I will see you at the bar.
Yeah, see you at the bar too. Cheers.
All right, man. Good. Thank you.